taking a look at the world of cellular quantum biology.
Yeah,
Really fascinating stuff.
very cool stuff.
You've sent me some really interesting research on this, and basically it seems like quantum mechanics is playing a role in the processes of life itself.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that just grabs you because it's not science fiction.
Right.
This is real science.
Yeah, this is happening right now.
It's happening right now, and it's changing our views
Yeah.
on, how we even think about life itself and where it might come from.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kick things off, can you give us a little bit of a quantum phenomena 101?
Sure.
What are some of these quantum phenomena and what makes them so significant in the context of biology?
Well, let's start with quantum tunneling.
Okay.
And I think the best way to think about this is you've got a particle like an electron, right? And it encounters a barrier. And according to classical physics, it shouldn't be able to cross that barrier.
Right.
But in the quantum world, this particle can actually tunnel right through that barrier.
So it's almost like
It's like walking through a wall.
it's like magic.
It is like magic, and it happens all the time inside our cells.
Wow.
And this has a real impact on processes like enzyme activity.
So it's almost like cells have a completely separate set of rules.
Right. They have almost like a hidden code
Yeah.
that they're operating on based on quantum mechanics.
A secret quantum code.
Exactly. And then you have something like quantum entanglement,
Okay.
where two particles are linked so closely that they instantly affect each other,
Right.
regardless of the distance between them.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's like they're communicating faster than the speed of light,
Right.
which is something that baffled even Einstein, and scientists are still trying to fully grasp this phenomenon. But it may have profound implications for how biological systems function and communicate.
Yeah, that one always gets me, is this idea of quantum superposition,
Right.
because that one just seems like magic to me.
Well, you can think about it like a coin spinning in the air.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
before it lands,
Mm.
it's both heads and tails simultaneously.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what superposition is. It's a particle existing in multiple states at once
Yeah.
until we measure it.
It's wild, and it's happening inside of us.
Inside of us right now,
It's like the universe is constantly playing dice with these particles.
it really is. And what's important to remember is that these quantum phenomena are not just theoretical curiosities.
Right.
They actually have tangible effects
Yeah.
on the processes happening inside ourselves.
Wow. So we're talking about things that are impacting the way our cells function.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. What would you say is one of the most concrete examples of this where we can see it happening in real life?
Well, one of the most striking examples is photosynthesis.
Okay.
It's the process plants use to convert sunlight into energy.
Yeah.
And they do it with an efficiency
Right.
that surpasses any solar technology.
It's amazing how efficient it is.
Humans have developed, and this is achieved through quantum mechanics.
So plants are basically like quantum physicists?
They're the ultimate quantum physicists.
Yeah. How does this actually work? I mean, how does this quantum efficiency actually work in photosynthesis?
Well, when light hits a chlorophyll molecule,
Okay.
it creates these packets of energy called excitons. Now, classical physics would suggest that these excitons would randomly bounce around
Oh, okay.
until reaching the reaction center where energy conversion happens.
Makes sense.
But that's not what we observe.
Okay.
What we observe is that these excitons, they take the most efficient path almost every time,
Oh, wow.
as if they have a built-in GPS,
Right.
navigating them through this maze of possibilities.
So they're somehow aware of what the most efficient route is.
Right, and that's where the quantum magic comes in, through a phenomenon called quantum walks.
Okay.
These excitons are essentially exploring all possible paths simultaneously, thanks to superposition. And this, along with quantum entanglement, allows them to almost instantly know the most efficient route to the reaction center,
Wow.
ensuring near-perfect energy transfer,
So it's like nature has found this hack.
a quantum hack,
Yeah.
to create this incredibly efficient energy system.
A quantum hack for life. That's fascinating. So we see this obviously happening in plants, but what about inside of us?
Yeah.
What about in our own bodies?
Well, one of the key places where we see quantum mechanics at work is in the world of enzymes.
Okay.
Enzymes are the workhorses of our cells. They speed up chemical reactions.
Right.
They're essential for virtually every biological process.
Yeah.
And they rely on quantum tunneling.
Okay.
Yeah.
To do their job. Okay. So remind me again, how does quantum tunneling work in this context?
Sure. So imagine a proton
Okay.
needing to move across a molecule.
Yeah.
In classical physics, it would need a certain amount of energy
Right.
to overcome what we call the energy barrier.
Yeah.
But with quantum tunneling, that proton can tunnel right through that barrier,
Even without enough energy.
even without sufficient energy,
Wow.
according to classical physics. And this enables enzymes to catalyze reactions at speeds that would be impossible otherwise.
So these protons are basically teleporting within our cells.
In essence, yes.
To allow these reactions to happen so fast,
Yeah.
what are some of the implications of this?
Well, in medicine, for example,
Yeah.
this has huge implications.
Okay.
Because imagine designing drugs
Right.
that can manipulate this quantum tunneling, either enhancing or inhibiting enzyme activity to achieve specific therapeutic goals.
So you could target very specific things.
Very specific processes.
Yeah.
For example, you could develop drugs that could target proton pumps
Right.
in cancer cells, disrupting their energy production and potentially halting tumor growth.
That's incredible.
It really opens up a whole new world of possibilities for drug design.
It seems like we're only just scratching the surface here with
Nice.
what this could mean.
Absolutely, and it gets even more complex and fascinating as we delve into more advanced concepts. For instance, there's the quantum Zeno effect,
Okay.
which is a bit of a head-scratcher,
Yeah, that sounds intriguing.
even for seasoned quantum physicists.
Okay, well, let's maybe take a break here.
Sure.
And we'll come back and we'll dive into that after the break.
Sounds good.
So this quantum Zeno effect, what is that all about?
Well, it's a pretty wild concept, basically.
Okay.
It suggests that if you observe a quantum system frequently enough,
Okay.
you can actually freeze it
What?
in a particular state, preventing it from evolving as it normally would.
So like if you were watching that spinning coin
Right.
and you just kept checking it,
Exactly.
it would never land?
You would never be able to decide
Wow.
whether to be heads or tails.
That's I mean, how does that even apply to like a cell?
Well, think about it. Cells are incredibly chaotic environments, right?
Yeah.
You've got molecules constantly bumping into each other. It's a very busy place. And you would think that this constant interaction would disrupt these delicate quantum states.
That we've been talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But researchers believe that the quantum Zeno effect might actually be at play here.
Okay.
These frequent interactions within the cell could be acting as those observations,
Oh, I see.
effectively stabilizing the quantum states
Yeah.
and preventing them from decohering.
So it's like the chaos of the cell is actually helping to maintain these quantum effects.
It's counterintuitive, but that seems to be what's happening.
Wow, that's amazing. And you mentioned before that there are even more mind-boggling concepts that we should explore,
Oh, yeah.
like this idea of quantum coherence in our sense of smell.
Yeah, so are you telling me that my nose is a quantum sensor?
Well, some researchers believe that our olfactory receptors,
Okay.
the proteins that are responsible for detecting odor molecules,
Right.
might actually use quantum coherence
Okay.
to distinguish between different smells.
And how would that work?
Well, the idea is that these receptors are very sensitive. Okay.
To the vibrational frequencies
Oh, okay.
of different molecules.
Right.
And they might be using coherence to amplify those signals.
Oh, wow.
So it's almost like our noses are picking up on the unique quantum music
The quantum music
Yeah.
of each molecule.
of each molecule. And that's what allows us to discern this vast array of scents.
So it's not just about the shape of the molecule.
Right. It's not just the shape.
It's about like the vibe.
It's about the vibrational signature, the energy.
That's incredible. Are there other senses that might be using quantum coherence too?
Well, there's some very intriguing research
Okay.
suggesting that our vision might also be involved.
Really?
Yeah, the concept of quantum metrology in vision
Okay.
explores the possibility that our eyes might use quantum principles to detect single photons,
Which are?
the fundamental particles of light.
Right. Right.
And this would explain how we're able to see
Yeah.
in incredibly dim conditions.
Right, because you would think there wouldn't be enough light.
There just shouldn't be enough photons hitting our retinas.
Wow.
But if our eyes are acting like these super sensitive quantum detectors,
Yeah.
then it becomes possible.
So we're full of these like hidden quantum superpowers.
It seemed that way.
Yeah, that's incredible. But how do these delicate quantum states, how do they maintain coherence?
Right.
In such busy biological environments, you would think they would be really easily disrupted.
Yeah, that's one of the big mysteries that
Yeah.
researchers are trying to unravel.
Okay.
But there's growing evidence that biological systems have evolved these very sophisticated mechanisms
Okay.
to protect and even enhance quantum coherence.
Okay.
One idea is this concept of quantum feedback control.
Okay, what is that?
Well, the idea is that cells might actually be able to sense changes in their own quantum states,
Oh, wow.
and then they use feedback loops to stabilize coherence.
Oh,
Kind of like a
interesting.
thermostat
Yep.
that regulates temperature.
Right.
So imagine a cell constantly monitoring its own quantum coherence and making these subtle adjustments to maintain it.
So it's like they have their own internal quantum error correction system.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow, that's amazing. And what are the implications of that? I mean, if we could manipulate that.
Oh, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to enhance coherence
Right.
for therapeutic benefit or disrupt it in harmful cells.
That would be incredible. I mean, we're talking about a whole new era of medicine and technology.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond individual cells as well.
Okay.
We're starting to explore quantum effects in complex networks of biological systems.
Okay, so like on a larger scale.
Exactly. For instance, researchers are investigating how quantum entanglement might play a role in communication and coordination between cells.
So not just within a cell,
Right, not just within a cell.
but between cells.
Exactly.
Entanglement on a cellular network level.
Precisely. It's a fascinating idea.
Yeah. I mean, what would that even look like?
Well, remember, entanglement links particles,
Right.
so their fates are intertwined,
Yeah.
regardless of distance.
Right.
So imagine this connection extending beyond individual molecules,
Okay.
creating these vast interconnected networks within and between cells.
Wow.
This raises questions about how cells might be communicating and coordinating their actions on a level we're only beginning to grasp.
So like a hidden web of quantum connections.
Yeah, weaving through our entire body.
That's incredible. And what kind of implications would that have for like biological processes?
Well, it could have profound implications for understanding things like development,
Okay.
where cells need to communicate and organize themselves to form complex structures.
Right.
It might also play a role in how our immune system functions, allowing cells to coordinate their responses to threats in a very efficient way.
It's mind-boggling to think about the level of complexity
It really is.
that could be happening.
And we're only just scratching the surface.
Yeah, I feel like we've covered so much ground here, but I'm really eager to delve deeper into these potential implications. What could this all mean for our understanding of things like evolution consciousness and, the very nature of life itself?
Those are the big questions that are driving this field forward,
Yeah.
questions that could really reshape our understanding of the universe and our place in it.
Yeah, I think those are some really great questions to explore. So let's take a quick break,
Sure.
and when we come back, we'll try to tackle those big questions.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring this really mind-blowing world of cellular quantum biology.
Yeah, where the kind of the rules of quantum mechanics are meeting the processes of life itself.
Yeah. And it's amazing we've seen how these quantum phenomena are actually, driving essential processes within our cells.
Yeah.
Everything from photosynthesis in plants to, enzyme activity in our own bodies.
It really is amazing.
It's changing our whole understanding of biology as we know it.
And before the break, we were talking about the possibility of, quantum entanglement connecting these entire networks of cells.
Yeah.
It's wild to think about the level of complexity and coordination
It really is.
that could be happening sort of beneath the surface, so to speak.
Absolutely. And this brings us to some of the biggest questions in science, right? Like, how did life arise?
Yeah.
How did consciousness emerge?
Right.
What is the nature of reality itself?
The big questions.
And cellular quantum biology, while still a young field, it offers a new lens
Yeah.
through which to explore these profound mysteries.
So let's dive into that a little bit. How does quantum biology change our understanding of evolution?
Well, for centuries, we've understood evolution, primarily through the lens of random mutations and natural selection.
Right, the classic view.
The classic view. But with the discovery of these quantum phenomena at play within cells,
Yeah.
we might need to reconsider the very mechanisms that are driving this evolutionary change.
So you're saying that quantum mechanics itself could actually be influencing the direction of evolution?
It's certainly possible. Think about quantum tunneling, for example.
Okay.
It could allow for mutations that would be extremely rare or even impossible,
Right.
according to classical genetics.
Okay.
Imagine a single proton tunneling to a different location within a DNA molecule,
Yeah.
resulting in a genetic change that would have been highly improbable otherwise.
Wow.
This could introduce these novel variations into the gene pool, potentially accelerating the pace of evolution.
So quantum mechanics is adding this whole other layer.
It's a whole new layer of complexity.
Complexity to evolution that we never even considered before.
And it's not just about the mutations themselves.
Yeah, okay.
Quantum phenomena like entanglement could also play a role
Okay.
in how organisms interact with their environment and with each other.
Okay, so
Imagine a scenario where entangled particles within different organisms could somehow influence their behavior or survival,
wow.
leading to new forms of adaptation and coevolution.
That's incredible.
It's a whole new way of thinking about ecological interactions.
Yeah, like this invisible web of quantum connection.
Exactly, influencing the entire tapestry of life.
So we've gone from, this very reductionist view of biology to this much more interconnected.
Yeah, much more holistic view where everything is connected.
Wow. Let's talk about consciousness, because I think that's one of the biggest questions of all, and you mentioned that quantum biology might actually shed some light on this.
Yeah, it's a question that's baffled philosophers and scientists
Forever.
for centuries, right? But now, with this growing evidence of quantum phenomena in biological systems,
Yeah.
some researchers are proposing that our subjective experience of consciousness might actually have its roots in the quantum realm.
I mean, how could quantum mechanics explain something as complex as consciousness?
Well, it's still very speculative,
Right.
but there are some really intriguing theories out there.
Like what?
For instance, some researchers suggest that quantum entanglement and coherence might be happening within the brain, allowing for these vast networks of interconnected neurons to process information
Yeah.
in ways that classical neuroscience can't fully explain.
It's almost like our brains are operating like these giant quantum computers.
That's the idea.
Capable of, performing these calculations and making connections.
Right.
That would just be impossible.
For a classical system.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And while we're a long way from proving this, it's a very tantalizing possibility
It really is.
that could revolutionize our understanding of the mind and its relationship to the physical world.
It makes you wonder then, are all living things experiencing some form of consciousness mediated by these quantum processes?
That's a fascinating question,
Yeah.
and one that science is just beginning to grapple with.
Yeah.
As we delve deeper into this quantum world within us, we might discover that the boundaries between life consciousness and the physical universe
Yeah.
are far blurrier
Yeah.
than we ever imagined.
It's incredible.
It really is mind-blowing.
This whole deep dive has been incredible. I mean, so many mind-blowing concepts and thought-provoking questions.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it feels like we've only just scratched the surface
We really have.
of what cellular quantum biology could offer.
It holds immense promise for unraveling some of the most fundamental mysteries of life itself.
It's really exciting to think about where this field could go.
As we continue to probe the quantum realm within living systems, we're likely to encounter even more astonishing discoveries
Yeah.
that will challenge our understanding of biology, evolution, and perhaps even the nature of reality.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive
my pleasure.
into the world of cellular quantum biology. We hope you enjoyed exploring these groundbreaking ideas with us, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.